Bring it down on the ground. No more secret talking. No more nails on top. No more secret talking. I don't think you'll ever stop. No more misbehaving. No more miss me not. No more misbehaving. Then we'll see what you are not. Bring it down. Bring it back forever. Bring it down on the ground. Safe and sound. Bring it back to never. Bring it down on the ground.
Hello. Happy Sunday to everyone out there. Cheers, Tiffany. Cheers.
Cheers.
If you guys can't tell, Tiffany is on location again. You're clearly someplace much sexier than I am. I am broadcasting as usual from my basement, my office.
I'm broadcasting from Hudson, Wisconsin.
Fancy. So hello, happy 4th of July to those who are celebrating that today. Happy 2nd Juneteenth to all of those who want to celebrate that today. I know that this is a very complex, this is one of those holidays that we have a very complex relationship with. So I acknowledge that. So thanks to everybody that is hanging out with us today. Hello, Mr. John Sullivan. He says that he is Jersey City, not MSP yet. He said Jersey City, not MSP yet, but we will get you back here to the Midwest soon. Also, hello to Paul. Paul is going to join us out here. He here is in the Twin Cities. He has a question for you. He says that Moscato, it is absolutely not Moscato. Neither of us drink sweet wines. So no, it is absolutely not Moscato. The sweetest that I'll get usually, I'll do a Riesling on occasion. And usually not a super sweet one. So, but thank you for asking. No, she is a Chardonnay drinker. And when I am in wine mood, I am primarily a Sauvignon Blanc person. But thank you for asking, Paul. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. Happy 4th to you, Kim. We appreciate you joining us today. Hopefully everybody is safe out there. We are going to do an abbreviated version of the show today so that Tiffany can get back to the smoked meats that her boyfriend is providing to her over there in Hudson. So
I need my pork. I need meat. Erica.
So we're just going to go a little shorter today, but there's a couple of stories that we thought were at least kind of related to what was going on today. I'm one of those people that I am not anti-Independence Day, but I am. I don't want to be a buzzkill to all the people who are super 4th of July people out there. So like Kim and those folks, I'm all like, you do you, kind of thing. Because it's very easy for me to lean into, but let me educate you, kind of thing. So I'm like, I'm not going to do that today. I'm gonna lean in on a different story today so that I'm not just pounding on 4th of July because I have other things to be upset about. I do have one funny story though. Earlier today, Tiffany and I and some friends of ours, we all went and hit the driving range. So that was all fine. And I enjoyed that. I came home. I was surprisingly tired, Tiffany. So I came home and napped up for about 45 minutes.
Ooh,
Yeah, and you know I don't
that's
nap.
so nice. So you napped.
Yeah, I don't nap. And then I jumped on Clubhouse. And so for everybody out there who has not done Clubhouse, Clubhouse is like it's a social media, it's an audio-based social media app. So it's basically like you can jump into these conversations. And I, of course, this will not be surprise anybody out there, including Tiffany. I am in a bunch of nerd chats, and specifically a string of them where we talk about Marvel Cinematic Universe things and Marvel Disney Plus shows and those things. So I hopped into that for a second. And I'm talking about Marvel comic book characters and stuff. And I bring up something, and then somebody else chimes in, and that's the way it works. Is people, you're kind of all, we'll just say in an audio room, so everybody's talking, and whoever talked next starts with this. Hey Shannan, I really appreciate what you just said. By the way, I'm a big fan of your comedy. Loved you a long time. And I exactly. And then I go back into nerd chat and I go, and by the way, thank you very much for the compliment, because I was like, in Tiffany, you've seen this, and Paul has seen this. When I'm in mega nerd mode, like I'm talking about Loki. And so it kind of went over my head that somebody gave me a compliment on my comedy. And so I was like, oh, wait a minute, that was super weird. And then I looked down and you can see everybody's avatar. And then I saw who it was. And Tiffany, it was our mutual friend and also very funny comedian, Warren B. Hall.
So, oh my God, it was Warren.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, and like I had to, and then I came back. And when I came back to my point to talk about something else, and I'm like, Warren, I'm sorry, I didn't know that was you. By the way, thank you. Warren is also a very funny comedian, kind of thing. Because at first it just seems super weird that somebody like, because I know these people because I'm in these nerd chats and this Marvel room and all this stuff. I don't, and yeah, you can follow each other on Instagram and all of those things, but it just was super non sequitur to expect anybody to be talking about my comedy in this room. So it was very sweet. So Warren is doing very well.
Isn't it always a relief though when it's someone you know, as opposed to like, I don't know you. Like,
right.
What do you mean? I've been a fan for years. I love your comedy. I love all you do. Wait, what?
Huh? Are you? I'm not Jim Gaffigan. I don't think that happens very often to me. So that's what I was like, oh, okay.
Walking through the airport, people are yelling Hot Pockets at you, like Jim Gaffigan.
Yep, nobody's just shouting my bits at me from across the Mall of America. So no.
I wish someone would shout my bits at me.
It would be amazing, but also awkward. Yeah, yeah, it's just so, okay, got you, kind of thing. So it's been very lovely to talk to him, and he's back out there on the road. So hopefully he'll end up back here in the Twin Cities very, very soon. So that is cool. So, okay. So Tiffany, we're going to skip the question of the week just so we can be expeditious in our time. So if anybody out there is highly disappointed that we're not doing a question of the week, you can let us know, or you can sound out in the replay chat and tell us that we let you down, and that's fine. But
the best way to make us do what you want is to like and subscribe.
Correct. Absolutely. So Tiffany, okay, so here's what I think we'll do. We'll go with the drama story first, and the one that made us both kind of hot for the right reason. And then we'll come back to the silly stories and we'll wrap up with that. So the first one is you and I were both excited about the fact that the Olympics are coming up soon, but there's just lately so many things about the Olympics that I am preemptively pissed off about. And the most recent one is something that would seem very minor to other people, but is a giant deal to me. So for the Olympic swim team, and not even just the American Olympic swim team, just the swim teams in general, one of the things that they were working for is having this new style of swim cap be okayed to be able to worn during competition. And it's one that is effectively very used for natural black hair. And this cap that a particular, and I believe it was actually the designer of it is actually, from Britain, and was trying to make it to the swimming. Yeah, and so they provided this because they noticed there was a gap in the market and that there weren't products that were specifically made for people who had natural or very robust and even really super curly hair. So they came up with this one because there's also all of these numbers out there. They're saying how there's this giant disparity between people of color in the swimming field, and a lot of it is because either you were teased when you were a kid because you had that, it's just cumbersome. Like swimming has never been my primary thing. And it leans into a lot of those stereotypes about how Black people don't swim and all. There's a lot of different systematic reasons why Black people don't swim, aside from the fact that, people like to say, oh, it's not that I'm incapable of it. It's just not something that in my community, it was as in a lot of disadvantaged communities, maybe you didn't have a swimming pool. If you did, there wasn't a community pool that you can do that. You didn't have access to swim lessons. It wasn't something where you had somebody in your community where you could automatically take ride to the lake and do all these things. And so it wasn't accessible. And on top of that, fitting all of this under your standard swim cap doesn't work. So this company had created this new cap called Soul Cap. And what happened is they had submitted it to the Olympics for consideration, and the Olympics said no, it's just crap. And I'm highly frustrated with this whole thing, Tiffany, because basically the reason that they gave is they said the body said that the caps did not fit the natural form of the head. So what does that mean? Anytime you have hair.
What is it, a square? What do you mean? That doesn't even make sense.
Mm-hmm. And it said that to the best knowledge of the athletes competing and their international events never used, neither require caps of such size and configuration. So that's the part that's really frustrating, is the fact that they're saying, well, we don't know any athletes that need that. So no, which is exactly the opposite of what happened, is that the athletes were suggesting this because it did work for them. And so they're going, yeah, you don't really need that. And so it was just narrow-minded and short-sighted and incredibly frustrating, because there are so many things that are out there that are like that, where just because it's not one particular body's experience, they say it's not necessary. And they refuse to try and put themselves in the shoes of other people. It's frustrating.
Right. Well, and I love swimming. I was a swimmer my whole life. I've got curly hair. It's difficult for me to get a proper bathing cap. And I have, a considerable amount of hair. This is not just like if you have dreadlocks, if you have extensions.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, so I have to have my hair also conform to your standard? No. And I will say this, if it's larger and it's a larger surface area and it's bigger, that means there's more drag when you're swimming, which would make you slower. So if they still beat you with the larger cap, they're actually quite a bit faster than you, a couple tenths.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So,
and the other thing,
it's a disadvantage.
Well,
because it's an advantage for them, making it like a disadvantage for someone else. I don't.
Right. And the original swim cap was created for Caucasian hair, in that it was not just to protect your hair, but because of it, it was trying to make it so that your hair did not get in the way while you were swimming, because that's what happens when you have that texture of hair. When you have hair like mine, it defies gravity. It's doing all these other things. So having your hair where it grows in a different curl pattern doesn't make sense for that cap either. So it's really, really frustrating that we're still having this kind of conversation. And I do feel that a number of the conversations that we're having right now about the Olympics, and I know that there's a lot of it is because we are having a great deal of diversity conversations here in the US, in Canada, and all of these places. I think we're definitely seeing that the Eurasian style of leadership that they have in the Olympics is now coming back to be highly impactful, because it is affecting Black American athletes, Black British athletes, African athletes. Like a lot of the stories that are coming right now, where it's a nuanced rule, not a flat out, okay, you can't do steroids, like what they would have with like a Russian athlete. Okay, we get that. That's a hard rule. These are nuanced rules. Exactly. This is a nuanced rule where it's, okay, caps are available, but not the kind that would be of value to you. or it's fine. But if their basis for like even those testosterone tests that are happening with the runners from Namibia, it's such a narrow definition of what a human body is supposed to be like. And it's just a very, Eurasian definition that they're using right now. And I find that frustrating, but we'll just keep shouting. We'll keep shouting. We've been shouting for the last however long. We'll shout a little while longer. And that's what we do.
I understand they are managing the expectations and the teams of many, many countries, many, many different, possibilities, of course. But
right.
And I know we're wrapping it up, but at least.
Oh, no, we're fine. We'll talk as long as you want to talk. You're the one that's got something to do.
But the part that makes me mad is the part that you said. They were like, yeah, but no one really needs it because we don't have those kind of people with that kind of hair that do that. What do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing worse. And all women hate having their hair look like crap at the pool. I always wanted straight hair. I always wanted to get out of the pool and have it look nice. This is not what happens to me.
Right. And this is just proof that, and what people are saying, the founding member of the Black Swimming Association. What'd you say?
I like our background.
Oh, yeah. You like that? I changed that. Yeah.
I feel like I'm on a porch.
I know. I thought that was
Swinging
good.
on a porch.
Hanging out.
Bless America.
But I mean, the founding member of the Black Swimming Association, what they had said, Danielle had said, we believe that this is confirms a lack of diversity in the sport. And I'm glad that there's now organizations, like fully formed organizations, that can continue to work for this and talk about why this is problematic. And, because we need to have that space and that volume.
4 years from now, Nike will make a cap. They'll steal the idea. They'll have someone on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and oh God, look at us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in the meantime, or Speedo will steal it, and since Speedo has the current one, they'll make one with a slight modification, and then all of a sudden it'll be okay. And that frustrates me as well. So I'm going to go out and get a soul cap for my son and I, kind of thing, because he likes swimming. He has a big fuzzy head of hair, and I remember looking at the cap and going, "He's never gonna." I didn't even try it. Like, I bought him one. Well, actually, I bought one of those things that came with the goggles and the cap, and then immediately threw the cap in the drawer. I'm like, he's not gonna wear this. This is not gonna work. So no. So all right. So I want to do our next swimming story, and then we'll do our one fireworks story today. Because so all right. So here's the thing. I was reading this article, and it's about it was set out by the CDC. And what it is that the CDC put out a new warning that said, hey, don't swim if you have diarrhea. Now, I feel like we should have been able to figure that out, but clearly we didn't, because the CDC had to put out a warning. And because the CDC knows that people don't just listen when you say words, they created a GIF, because they tweeted about this whole thing. And so the tweet said, one person with diarrhea can contaminate the entire pool. And they had a cartoon GIF of it. And the GIF is what everybody is focusing on, versus the, hey, maybe you shouldn't have your kid poop in the pool. And so Tiffany, I don't know if you saw the GIF. And they are right. The GIF is distracting. So here's the GIF. So that's what that looks like. And so what it is there's this little girl that's going down the slide, and she leaves aggressive skid mark. Don't leave. And that's what they put in this. They said, don't leave your mark at the pool this summer. It only takes one person with diarrhea to contaminate the entire pool. Thank you, CDC. And so that's what they're leaving us with.
That is slightly disturbing. And like the dad, that's not a real dad, obviously, because a real dad would be like, oh God, I'm not touching it. Mom.
And I think, and the look of joy on the little girl's face, right, Paul? The look of joy. She's clearly having a good time. But
don't shit yourself. I love this pool.
So yes.
And a bunch of viewers bailed out. Sorry guys.
Okay. which is fair. But
They're
for the
like,
people
okay,
that
that's,
stayed, Paul, you are right. This is epic. It's just like it's amazing. And I'm like, come on now. So I get the CDC's thing. They wanted something that was a very appropriate representation of what was going on. They wanted everybody to go, you get the point. And I think it is. You're grossed out enough, and you're like, fine. Oh, you're right, Paul. Is this the way it works? He says that usually it's the dads with bad dietary habits.
yeah, he's a single dad. He gave her all fast food all week and takes her to the pool.
Now we have problems, kind of thing. You decided that this is when she needed to have like some fiber. No. So
Oh my God.
but we've had so many stories lately about Giardia and all these other things in the water, in the pool, and here in the Twin Cities, we have a bunch of pools that have some sort of bacteria in them all the time. And my mom had said for a while ago, she had been telling me, don't take Dominic to the lake because this, that, and other thing. And she would tell me, because we do have problems with the lake. There's always something in the lake too. And so her thing was, she's like, stop taking him to the lake. And I'm like, but the pools are gross too. It's the whole thing. Like, you just never know. Like, anything around other people might be gross.
I'm a big fan of rivers because rivers move. Lakes
okay.
don't.
Okay.
Pools don't. Rivers, you got action.
All right. Really. At least it's wafting down. It's washing down the creek bed somehow. That is an option.
It's going down current, man. It's going down river.
Fair enough. So Tiffany, let's do this last.
We have a mutual friend to Moon, right?
Yeah.
Who has MS, and one of the things that they recommend for him was swim therapy. And he would go to swim therapy every week, and I'd be like, "Hey, buddy, how was your swim therapy today?" He's like, "I got canceled again. Someone shit in the pool."
Yeah, there was a time that
Dominic all the time. They got to clear it all out. It's common.
Drain it. You have to drain it, and have to clean it out.
It.
And that happens a lot at therapeutic locations because you may either have kids with incontinence issues or older people, and like that all makes sense. Like if you are in a scenario like that, that's a scenario that you can't plan for, and especially when you have a population like that. But if you just have a kid that, like, I think that if you have a kid, I think this is talking about this is them trying to preempt what we've learned from COVID, is that a lot of people are sick and they know they're sick and they still go out, and they're just going, no, if you're sick, stay home. That means you don't get to go hang around other people. And you don't, okay, if you're sitting there going, oh, they're only a little bit sick. Well, that means that they need to keep their little bit sick person home, and you have to put a blow up pool in the back. And if you're a grown up, you can just go in the back and put your feet in it. If the kids you don't get to do fun stuff around other people if you're a little bit sick. And I've done that before and not taken him out, but I've made that call where I'm like, I've had to look at Cyclone Kid and go, is he sick enough to not take him? And I just err on the side of caution because I'm like, well, he's really bad at washing his hands and he's really bad at covering his mouth when he coughs. So there's been times that I've just kept him home just because I didn't want him to maybe get somebody else sick. And so I'm like, or I'll drop him off and it turned out I read this wrong and he really was sick and then I just got to go get him, kind of thing. Because that's the worst. When you have a kid and you think they're healthy and then you drop them off and then they throw up and you got to go get them, like, ugh.
Yeah, but that's also why that gift is so important, because it was clearly not the mother. It was the father who was like, yeah, bring it to the pool.
Well, it's like, well, we don't want to hang out with this at home, so we'll just take him over here. No. Stay home.
I don't have to give him a bath this way. It's all cleaned up. Ready to go.
Don't swim or let your kids swim if sick with diarrhea. Take that to heart. God. Learn that lesson, everyone, so we don't have to get more of these gifts. How about that? No more gifs. No more say, don't poop around your friends. It's okay.
Poop in the pool. No. Poop in the bathroom, not in the pool. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Don't poop in the pool. Don't poop in the pool.
Don't poop in the pool.
Right.
You heard it here first.
Don't poop it. They need to do a song about it now because the gift just rigged everybody out. So they just know how to do that. So yeah, I'm you always go, really, we have to do this. And they had to have up a hashtag that said healthy swimming. And I'm like, yeah, of course they do. Yes. Clearly enough of these reports came out that they know this is the issue, and now they got to deal with it. So,
Yeah. You might see some commotion in the background. We're getting set up for bags.
oh, okay.
And what I really like
You
about
mean
it,
that?
this is what I, but Jan, this is what I really like about it. I'm gonna show
Huh.
you. I am in Wisconsin, but look at the bag. Look at the bag door.
Oh, wow. Now,
Oh, baby.
did he do
I
that
can't hear you.
before or after you started dating him?
Was that? Those are Cece. Those are Brian's son's girlfriends, and they play. Her family apparently plays in tournaments, so I'm about to get smoked. I'm gonna be more smoked than the meat.
Well, best luck to you and Godspeed when you play your
Call it
bags.
bags or cornhole? What do you call it? I call
Bags.
it bags.
I don't know. I've heard people say they called it cornhole, and I've never ever heard anybody actually do that. I've only heard it when people go, some people call it cornhole. I'm like, do they though? Like, where in Iowa? What two counties in Iowa call it that? Only 2 counties, I think.
Only 2?
2.
There only is 2 counties in Iowa. Have you been there?
I've been
There's
to one of the
literally
counties.
2 families that populated that whole state. Everybody looks the same. They all have the same name. They all talk the same.
Every time I went there, I was talking to somebody who was a transplant there, so I couldn't tell because it was my friend that didn't grow up there. So the 2 times I've been, I've probably been there more than that, like to do comedy, but I didn't do a mental scan to go, hey, y'all all look the same. I just didn't. I told my jokes and I got in a car and I came back, kind of thing. Thank you, Iowa VFW. And I was bouncing.
VFW in Iowa?
Yep.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
I love it when I walk into a VFW too, because they all look at me and they're like, yeah, you're not a veteran of a foreign war.
They look at me like, this is clearly the performer. I'm like, you are correct. You are correct. Yeah. That kind of thing. Yeah. I do like there used to be a Legion, an American Legion bar over next to me here in Robbinsdale that I used to drink at all the time. Like that was fascinating. Yeah. I love drinking at that Legion. Yeah.
I've been to a lot of Legions and a lot of moose lounges.
I've never been to a moose, but I've been to a lot of Legions. Legions are fascinating. I'll go to a Legion. And one of these days I'll go to a VFW again and we'll see how it goes. And so, all right, this story came out a couple of weeks ago, but if you hadn't seen it, it happened here in the Twin Cities, actually in our lovely suburb of Eagan, Minnesota. So a couple of weeks ago, what happened is there was a fire in the Eagan, Minnesota, the Eagan, Minnesota Hy-Vee. And I love Hy-Vee. I go to mine. Here's the thing that turned out what happened is some teenagers thought it would be a great idea to go and start a fire in a fireworks display. And that I think is brilliantly teenager-esque. It turns out when they I don't know if you saw the follow-up story, Tiffany, but it was a 14, a 15-year-old and a 16-year-old. So these 3 kids started this fire. The best thing about the fire is the way that the Hy-Vee employees and the people just stood around and watched the fireworks go out.
That's my favorite part. The kid who's making $6 an hour is like, it's not my aisle. That's not my apartment.
Here, I'm going to.
Your own.
Well, and I also think that part of it. Go ahead.
Also, too, I worked in a grocery store for many years when I was a kid.
Uh-huh.
Also, there's a lot of union jobs in groceries. Some jobs are union, some jobs are not. So you really can't do, if you're union, you're not supposed to do a non-union job. And I think the fireworks department is the non-union part. We don't need the sound, but we can just play the fireworks in the background because there's 2 views of it. And so I like it that there's a couple of like employees, like this guy is my favorite employee. This is my guy. This is my dude.
Because look,
the guy, he's looking at it. He looks at his phone, puts it in his pocket, walks the other way calmly.
All he did, the best thing about it is that he like filmed it. Like the fact that he was filmed it. He got a long enough shot of it, and then he's tried to be all sly and put his phone in his pocket and dip, kind of thing. He monitored it, he commemorated it. He's like, this is gonna go viral. I'm gonna put this on TikTok. And then he was like,
Yep.
bounce, because I don't have the fire extinguisher. And maybe, who knows, maybe he took a picture of it first and now he was sauntering to the fire extinguisher after he's like, somebody set the fireworks on fire. And he's also had the look on his face. I feel like he also had the look on his face like, like he was like, I should have thought of that. That would have been dope. I should have done that. That's a good idea. Like, he just looked
What
sly.
a great way to quit your job if you work there, though. But I'm out.
He's a slow down doom metal. You're right. Like, and I mean, and they're trying to decide.
But I didn't even know that could happen with our crappy Minnesota fireworks. You know what I'm saying? I guess we've got enough of them together.
Right. You have to
started that fire in a Hy-Vee in Wisconsin.
Oh my God.
Police would have been up.
Yeah. It had to be. Yeah. It was the fact that it was volume, because that's mostly sparklers and a couple of poppers and some other stuff. Right. So like they
and sparklers. Boo.
I wonder, because I am curious about the 3 teenagers that did it, because it went 2 ways. So either it was the oldest kid, like, who was the impetus? Was it the oldest kid's like, hey, we're gonna do this, come with me? Or was it the youngest one and they're like, Timmy, this is why we don't take you places? So I'm just curious which way it was.
18-year-old has got something to lose because he's got driving privileges to lose.
Yeah, so they're like, see, now Timmy, stop.
14.
Yeah. So there's a 14-year-old, a 15-year-old, and a 16-year-old. And so it's like, was it the 16-year-old's like thuggish idea, or was the 14-year-old's dumb teenager, like brand new teenager idea? Either way, they're like, ugh. And they only got caught because there's surveillance cameras everywhere. And I think that's how a lot of stories happen right now, is that this is a great idea, but not only are there surveillance cameras, there's people with cell phones immediately out there. My phone is almost always in my hand. If nothing else, I'm like playing Pokemon Go. So I'm like, it's easy to sit there and go, now I'm recording you. So here we go.
What we need is more surveillance cameras, it sounds like, at the pool from the previous story.
So we can say who's skid marking.
We saw that. We saw you. Track them down. I just hope that I'm glad no one got hurt.
Right.
Because that would be scary. I mean, that could have really been awful.
Right. And it sounds like there wasn't even a significant amount of damage done. It was mostly smoke damage. So they closed the Hy-Vee down for a couple of days. And they were able to reopen it. So it was fine, and then the thing I think is, the fact they're like, we're deciding if we're going to have charges. I feel like this is more of a scared straight thing, but maybe the kids have done other dumb things. So I can't guarantee that they're just going to go.
Smoke damage, I'm sure the insurance covers it, but that's not cheap.
No,
that's a real cost. I mean, they probably cost $100,000 worth of damage.
So I feel like this is a community service thing.
Like they should have to work there for free until they graduate from high school. And
that wouldn't be bad.
They keep working there.
That's not bad. That's not bad. I am all for sweat equity when you do something dumb. I think that makes a lot more sense than trying to like find their parents or get money out of their parents. Make them do something to actually be useful and learn, well, this is how come you cause so much ruckus. But like
that's how it used to be in the old days. In the old days, if you screwed over one of the neighbors didn't go to your parents. They went to you, and they're like, all right, well, you're going to come and cut my lawn, Timmy.
Right.
For the next week.
Right.
Now you can't.
Well, I had a good point. Like it is, hopefully, I agree. And hopefully they don't get charged as adults, because this would be a really weird thing to charge them as adults for, because it seems very old school dumb prank to me. And community service, totally. Learn how to, clearly you do not do well when you don't have things to do. Like you need activities 24/7. Yeah. I can imagine.
Have you been to Egan though? There's nothing cooking there. There's nothing for these kids.
Well, I know, but that's why they can take them over and they can pull weeds, kind of thing. Right. Just go pull weeds. Got it. Right. Just go pull weeds, go clean the diet. Well, we can clean the diarrhea out of the pool because that's a hazard. I don't want them getting sick. But they can
skimmer, just picking up turds.
But I do think it's good for them to sit there and like to learn how to go clean stuff up. Like if it was their job to go to the fire department and clean at the fire department, like y'all got to go and mop up and do this and help take care of the fire department, because it's bad enough that our fire department has to do stuff and take care of this fire. You can go clean up. So that might be useful. Something community service, manual labor, I think I'm all for that. I'm all for that.
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
Mm.
I just sweated in my eye and it's stinging.
Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I thought I was gonna go back out. I haven't checked my text messages. I was all adventurous this morning. And and now I'm like, maybe I'm not leaving the house again. I might I was like, oh, I should do something. Now I'm already like pooping out kind of thing. Like, we'll see.
Well, Hudson's open. You can come over and play cornhole.
Oh, that's a long drive just to play cornhole. I love you though. Here, I'll give you an air code. Yeah.
Mm.
So what? Okay. So
I
Paul
love them all.
said, let's see. Well, I mean, I think that, there are a lot of things that are wrong about what happened, but I gotta believe, and I know that I err on the side of they didn't mean it that much. If you're talking about a 14-year-old and a 15-year-old and a 16-year-old, unless they have parents who are of the malicious style person. And then it's go get the parents. But if it's really just them, kind of thing. And I think that's why, places like Minnesota do normally have such wimpy fireworks, is because they are kind of scary. So, and they are using them as ways to do other stuff. So hopefully these kids were just like, what? We didn't think we thought it'd be fun. Like, because in a movie, or if you're in a cartoon, or if you're on a Disney Plus show and that was made for kids, this would have been hilarious. Because fireworks don't even really make smoke in Disney Plus things. Things just go off and you're like, what? And then it's fine. I don't think I'm hoping in their dumb teenager heads, they didn't even know it was going to be a fire. They thought it would just be fireworks and burn out like it would if you were in the middle of the street. That would be great. So that's what I'm hoping for these kids.
Right.
Shout out to our friend Jim, who's in here. Jim, hello. Jim Seuss just said he loves us both, Tiffany. She should say hi to Jim. Hi, Jim.
Jimmy.
Mm-hmm. So go ahead, Tiffany.
Okay, before we wrap up, this is my new investment. I think everybody needs one of these in their life. My misting fan.
You said you had to drive all over town to get that. Didn't you pick it up a certain place?
Oh my God, I had to. It was not easy. I'd have an easier time buying a dragon than trying to find one of these because it's been so hot. It's been so hot. Everybody's out of stock.
Gotcha.
And so I found an shout out Ace Hardware on Penn, Penn and 62, and they were the only one. And oh my God, they were so cute. The guy, when does this even happen anymore? This is why I like a good Ace. They'll walk it out to your car for you. He's like, would you like help with this to your car, ma'am? And normally, ma'am, but if you were going to carry something for me, call me whatever you want. Call me old lady. Do you want help with this, old lady? Yes, I do. I do want help. I do want you to carry it's only 15 pounds, but my wrists are so brittle from all the osteoporosis. Come and carry this, young man. I think he was working off some juvie. I think he might have been setting out the firework. You don't know.
Maybe. And they're like, here, go learn how to carry stuff.
Oh, you got to carry people's stuff out. That's your job.
I like it. I'm fine with it. And so, I mean, I wasn't a prankster when I was a kid. So Paul is saying that back in his day, he was a stink bomb kid. I don't even know what's in. I'm not going to ask. Like, Paul, you can DM me what's in a stink bomb. Like a sulfur. Okay. All right. And I feel like now we have started a Thelma and Louise stink bomb scam between Jim and Paul, and they can just go and then just do their.
And then when the guys try to catch them of a crime they're not guilty of, they just both hold hands and drive off a cliff in a convertible.
There you go, Jim. There you go, Jim. Paul, feel free. You may have that. That's our present to you on 4th of July. It's like we just wrote you a buddy comedy right now here on the Black Unicorn and the White Witch. So you're welcome. So as far as I know, I am we will be back here next Sunday. You also our tickets are available for our comedy and Minnesota Shorts show that Tiffany and I are going to be doing on Thursday, July 22nd at the Twin Cities Film Fest offices. Tickets are available. They are $10 for members and $20 for non-members. So this is a great opportunity for you guys to go and get your memberships for the Twin Cities Film Fest. Oh, speaking of the Twin Cities Film Fest, who just popped up? My bestie, Jayton. Jayton, hello. Happy 4th. Good timing, Jayton. I was just talking about our show that we're doing at the Twin Cities Film Fest offices on the 22nd.
We're plugging it the whole time.
So you can come see it. We're going to have some more of our comedy friends come and join us. And so they're going to come and be there. And the thing is, so you spend your 10 or 20 bucks, you come down, you get a comedy show. We're going to do a live version of The Black Unicorn and the White Witch. We're going to have some of our other comedy friends there, and our good friend Stuart Sutherland, who is normally a member in the chat. He is actually going to donate all of the wine. So when you come, you not only get a couple of drinks, but then you also, every additional drink that you buy also goes to benefit the Twin Cities Film Fest, courtesy of our good friend Stuart Sutherland and the folks over at Johnson Brothers. So it's going to be a great night to come down. You know, by then you'll go, let's go use somebody else's air conditioning. So you might as well come to the Twin Cities Film Fest offices over in the shops at West End and St. Louis Park. It's going to be an easy, early show. We'll do an after party at one of the other bars on the Strip. So mark your calendars for Thursday, July 22nd. So did I miss anything, Tiffany? Yeah.
No, I'm good. I'm good. Happy 4th of July, my dear. It was so fun to get to see you today. And, you know, I mean, we're not ready for the LPGA quite yet, but it's close. It's coming.
Yeah.
I think I just want to get good at golf by the time I can join the seniors member. Like
okay.
Seniors.
That works. I mean, I had a couple, we were just at the driving range and I had a couple good drives about, you know, we did a 90 ball bucket and then actually got our friend Coco's leftovers because he had to leave. So about ball 82. By the time we got to ball 82, I'm like, all right, this is kind of working.
I'm just coming in. You guys, why are we quitting? I'm just getting good now.
Right. And I was like, yeah, but don't press your luck. Like I know myself at least that well. So
All right, baby. I love you.
I love you too. We love everybody that's out there. Please like and subscribe, share us with your friends, and we will see everybody next week. Be careful out there in the fireworks. Don't set anything on fire like a high V, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Someone who'll take a little time to see that maybe I'm not worthless. When all my plans fell far from good and all my words were misunderstood, I start to think that maybe I deserve this. When my lucky stars crash to the ground and the hands of fate were tightly bound, heard a voice say you're not alone. When calamity began to compound, the whiskey rain stopped pouring down. That voice said, I'm not on my own. Oh, it was you. It was you. And search for clues, trying to shake the sidewalk blues. Wanna feel like I won't fade away. But every next step that I take, the broken piece starts to bend and shake. So I sat down and prayed for rain. When my lucky stars crashed to the ground, the hands of fate were tightly bound, and a voice said, you're not on your own. When calamity began to compound and the whiskey rain stopped pouring down, that voice said, I'm not on my